Small business owner, you know the struggle's real. You're going to be pissed off sometimes, and we're trying to figure out how to be less pissed off, right? That's what this YouTube video is about every week.
What is going on, you beautiful ladies and gentlemen?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Bonji Bros YouTube channel. We're going to be doing the Bonji recap today, discussing everything we learned or the biggest takeaways from this past week in our business. Main topic we want to talk about is how to hire for a growing business. Brian came to me yesterday and said, "Hey, I'm trying to focus on growing the business, dealing with existing customers, talking to potential customers, but I'm bogged down with a lot of busy work. So what can we do about that?" And we started thinking about plans and strategies to put in place. We want to be 90% sales and marketing. Brian spoke to Brad Lee, and that was his biggest suggestion, and we try to implement that strategy into our business. So if we're close to 90% and we start adding customers and we're getting busier and busier with things outside of sales and marketing and systematizing our business, then we know it's time to hire, right? So the first thing to envision or to vision a small business, there's a few steps and evolution to that process. So here are the steps really quick. We'll go through each step more specifically, but sales is one, right? Gather customers. 2 is service the customers. 3 is hire to service the customers so you could continue growing. And the 4th is hire to manage, meaning, manage the people servicing the customers. If you're making products, you need people to manage the production, manage the deliveries, and making sure the customers are happy.
The same thing goes for service-based companies too. If you guys are selling any sort of like financial services or anything like that, if you guys have people doing like the legwork, have just people prospecting accounts, getting into the door, so that a closer can come in and do their work. You kind of need people to manage, like, okay, we need to hit this region, so production definitely counts, but I think it really kind of goes for any sort of product or service-based business.
So we're not going to talk about the first step in sales. That's kind of a video for another time. Whatever you got to do to get customers and increase the sales in the business, beg, plead, whatever you have to do. But we're going to talk about now you have a group of customers, right? And we manufacture in-house, and it's helped us kind of visualize and changed our perspective on things, right? So our production machines, they have a capacity, right? In the spec sheets of the equipment, it says you should be able to make 100 units, for instance, an hour, right? So we have to put things in place to achieve that optimization.
And by the way, the second part, doing the service yourself, is the time when a lot of people, I feel like, throw in the towel and want to quit because it becomes so much.
Or they get content.
One or the other, but if you want to, for those people that want to make a growing business and something really great, if you get to that point, it's either like, okay, I'm going to throw in the towel and I'm going to manage these 30 accounts and just pretty much become self-employed and do it yourself. If you want to start having a huge company and you're like, it's tough for myself to get this, how am I going to go hire new employees to do it? Personally, I was on the road I was driving probably 60 hours a week. I'd go up to New England and back, and then the next day I'd go down to Virginia and back. I'd literally be driving 60 to 70 hours a week, which you have to realize that's not going to be your job for forever. I think, sometimes at this point, I look back at it and I'm like, wow, that's crazy. And if you can get to the point where you move past that point and you can look back at it, you'll be like, those are awesome times. But if you're going through it right now, like we were 2 years ago.
Well, yeah, paint the picture, right, for people so they understand, where you're coming from and how to apply it to them, right? So we had a product. We have an acai sorbet product. And the first 6 months of the business, we were running around telling everyone, hey, we have the best acai sorbet in the country, right? And then people started buying in and understanding, hey, they really do have the best acai in the country, and we were acquiring customers, right? And then we started, what Brian was referring to was servicing the accounts. So every week, restaurants would be ordering product, and Monday, we would drive up to New England, and then Tuesday we would go down to Virginia, and then Wednesday we'd go down to Philadelphia. Thursday we're in Manhattan. It was great. We were keeping customers happy. They were, serving a great product. Their customers were happy. And then we said, well, we just went 3 months and we didn't add any customers. We're doing the same thing every day. What can we do? Right? And that was doing the service ourselves. The service of delivering product to the customers. And this service can be anything. It could be electrical work, right?
I was talking to someone that has he franchises landscaping businesses, but before he had 20 different managers having their own kind of segment of that landscaping business. It was him that had to go mow the lawns of 150 people. Now he's on the Fortune 500 list because he has his landscaping business. But you're gonna have to. People have to figure out, like, okay, I have this amazing idea. I'm going to start up a franchise of landscaping businesses. But in the immediate future, you're going to have to be like, okay, I have to do 150 landscaping jobs myself in order to fuel that, right, so I could hire the next person.
So that's where the manufacturing comes into play, right? So we realized, okay, we looked at ourselves as a manufacturing machine and said, okay, we can deliver 10 hours a day was a reasonable thing, right? 10 to 12 hours a day. That was our capacity for the day, right? So that means we could deliver to 10 customers a day. And then so once we filled the week with one route and we were servicing the route ourselves, then we said, okay, we could replace ourselves with one person. You have to look at each person and see their capacity and their capacity to service customers. So if that means you could service 10 customers a day, well then go get 50 customers. Now you have a full week of work to hire someone and pass that work on to someone else and train them and have them service. One is service yourself and service a week of yourself. And if it's, you might be in a business where the recurring is monthly, so but we happen to be in where it's every week we visit the same accounts. 5 accounts a day translates to 25 accounts a week is full capacity for a delivery driver. Okay, we need to hire a delivery driver. The second step is do it yourself. Identify the capacity of yourself, which will translate to the person you hire. And then hire that person, train the person, and now they can service the accounts. Is that right?
Yeah, which this requires a lot of trust. You're going from, whether it be delivering the product to these cafes yourself or mowing the lawns or whatever example you could think of. Whatever, if you're the business owner and you're operating every aspect of the business, you're going to make sure that everything is perfect or damn near perfect. So you have to have a high level of trust in whoever you're hiring to be confident that, okay, the customers that are constantly giving me business or they're helping me stay in business, I have to do a great job for them, and because I was doing it myself, they have to live up to that standard that I created.
Well, yeah, and you have to ultimately trust your staff. This video is really built around the idea of alleviating yourself from busy work, right? So Brian's like, dude, I'm worried that if we hire someone, they're not going to show the love to our customers as much as we do, right? So then you have to implement systems so that your customers are still feeling the love from you, but you're not doing the quote unquote busy work, right? The customer could still feel the love even though you're not driving around for 10 hours a day, right? You could call them on the phone and talk to them for 10 minutes. You're spending more time, talking with them, communicating with them, building relationships, but you're not spending the other 9 hours driving. You're spending the other 9 hours talking to new customers and trying to build relationships with them. So it's, yes, you kind of have to trust the people you hire, but you also have to build in systems, right? So we have systems of how to track delivery associates to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to in a timely manner. The customers are remaining, really happy. Our relationships are getting stronger with them. We're treating them well, and if you do it right, your relationships, like I said, should be stronger because you're able to, spend more time talking with them. When we were servicing them and literally doing the deliveries ourselves, we were thinking about the other 5, 10, 15 stops we had to go to, and we were like, here's your product, thanks so much, see ya. But now we can call them up once a week or a couple times a week and just talk to them casually and build relationships with them, right?
Yeah.
And Brian does that every day. He talks to customers every day, existing customers, and you're spending a lot more time. You talk to customers about their fantasy team and what they're doing on the weekend, and less time putting product in their freezer and trying to get out of there, right? Mm-hmm. And now that's for like the manual labor and things of that nature. But then it goes into front office and administrative work, which is what Brian came to me and said, hey, we need to address this because I'm doing too much, accounting and route.
Yeah, we currently have a lot of goals for how we want to grow the business. And right now, like my entire week, I was pretty much here 8 to 6 doing accounting work, managing deliveries for in my role.
It was more like supply chain too.
Yeah, and that's obviously that's stuff you're going to need as a growing business. You're going to have to figure out ways to I need to get that off my plate so I can figure out getting back onto the goals as to what it is. You have your 3-month goal, you have your 6-month goal, you have your 12-month goal. But if you're in the office all day, not talking to one customer, how you're
not driving the business. We need to be driving the business. If you're a business owner or a business operator, you need to be driving the business. So you need to be constantly auditing yourself and figuring out, hey, did I have a productive day? If the answer is yes, we'll keep it rolling. If the answer is no, what did you spend your day doing today? And so the manual work is a lot easier to identify. Hey, I spent 10 hours driving today. Can we hire someone to help us out on that project or that activity? Yeah, that's easy, right? But when Brian's like spending time on QuickBooks or whatever it is, talking to vendors, it's not really driving the business forward and upward. So you need to, again, be alleviating yourself of busy work and focusing more on growing the business. The goal is to build a business that makes profit, reinvest in your employees, reinvest in your capacity to acquire new customers, make cooler products, whatever it is, right? But it comes down to turning a profit, right? So that has to be, you have to be critical of that and make sure you're doing that, obviously. And once you start doing that, then it becomes, well, you shouldn't be, people talk a lot, on YouTube about outsourcing projects. And if you're not calculated with outsourcing or hiring people, you'll quickly go out of business or lose that cash flow that you once had. You have to mathematically hire people too, right? You may say, damn, dude, I just spent 8 hours doing quote unquote busy work and not growing the business. And that's the challenging part of a small business.
You have to be selective with what you outsource. You could outsource your accounting work, like get the money into your bank. It's a very easy, measurable thing to understand. But things like sales and marketing, do you really trust someone to market your product that has really no idea what it is? They want their check at the end of the month. You say, hey, a marketing guy comes up to you and says, hey, I'm going to market your product. At the end of the month, give me $2,000. And you're like, what about the results? And then you tell them what your brand vision is. They're like, okay, well, try to fit that in. And they really don't do anything extra for your company. You have to figure out the ways that are going to make your company, your brand, your company, your message to the customers directly and indirectly through marketing really shine through. And if you're going to outsource that to someone that really doesn't care, they want the check at the end of the month, then you're doing something really wrong. So outsource the stuff that's more menial, more.
If you're outsourcing, that's an investment in the company. And if you're going to invest in the company, what's my return? Right? So if you're going to hire a $10,000 marketing agency and you're going to outsource the marketing, well, is that going to turn into an additional $50,000 a month in revenue? Or then, if not, then it's a waste of money. And that $10,000 you were cash flowing a month is going to go to zero, and you're going to be really disgruntled. So whoever you outsource, if you outsource currently, or if you think you need to, literally act like it's an investment and say, what's my rate of return here? Where's the return on investment? And if there is no return, or if that agency can't provide you with a legitimate hard return, then they're not the agency for you. Or expect to be really unhappy in 2 months when you realize you didn't you lost money or broke even. Right? Because that sucks. And that's what this video is about, is not getting pissed off, right? Because Brian was just really pissed off 10 minutes ago, and we want to try to alleviate that as much as possible. But if you're a small business owner, the struggle's real. You're going to be pissed off sometimes, and we're trying to figure out how to be less pissed off, right? That's what this YouTube video is about every week. How can we figure out how to be less pissed off and more proud of the work that we're putting out into the universe, right? And so you have to be really calculated. And hiring, we could use a CFO, but we can't afford it right now, right? So what are the mathematics so that you're probably, if you're a business owner right now, you're probably thinking to yourself, I could really use X, whether it's an accountant, someone focused in marketing, creating brochures and literature, someone in production to increase output, whatever it is, right? You need to understand the mathematics of your business so you know what you can afford and what you need to do so that you can afford a better quality person or more people on your team.
More money comes in. It's not, okay, I could sit on this money. I could go, buy a nicer house, rent a nicer apartment. If you want to build a really great company, it's, oh, nice, we are able to get some more money in. How do I go use that money so I could go 3x the amount of money coming in next year or whatever it might be.
It's a game and it's calculations. You were kicking yourself saying, man, I really need an accountant, for instance, right? And so you Google, to be competitive in the marketplace, to hire that person that you need to help your business go to the next level, right, is $50,000. One unit your units that you sell right now is $100. You put $50 in your pocket, right, after every unit sold. That means you need to go sell 20 additional units to not affect your cash flow, right? Then you could go hire that said person to help you grow your business, right? So Brian said a literal example was we need kind of like an office manager, right? Do a little bit of accounting, do a little purchasing, a little bit of everything in the front of office. I said, okay, how much does that person cost? Okay, they typically cost $50,000 a year. Okay, that means it's going to be $1,000 a week burden to our business, our cash flow. Okay, so that means we need to go find 20 additional units a week to pay for that person. Now we go find those 20 additional units. Now we can invest that additional cash flow into the accounting person or the office manager, and it doesn't hinder the cash flow to reinvest next month into building the business elsewhere. But, don't outsource, don't hire people unless you know where that money's coming from.
I just want to highlight this again. This will sound like counterintuitive to probably a lot of you because, in my own personal experience, being a really good entrepreneur means that you have to start wielding back some of the things that you're doing. If you want to just operate a business, have yourself, maybe a couple other people, but you're pretty much doing the entire work yourself. Look, Coca-Cola doesn't become Coca-Cola with, Johnny Coca-Cola being the one guy, or McDonald's doesn't do that with the one guy. Yeah, if you didn't watch that movie, The Founder, you should go watch that movie. But the great entrepreneurs realize, okay, everything can't be on my own, and that was a very tough thing for me to kind of swallow. But it is very, very important. It doesn't make sense. You think when your business is growing, you're doing 10 times more, but really you become more and more focused in the things that are going to make your company launch more into growth. You have to realize that, okay, the fact that I used to be a logistics manager, I used to be a delivery driver, I used to be a production manager, I used to be an accountant, all these things, you can't, if you want your company to go double next year and then go triple the year following, you can't handle all those roles, be the only guy doing it, and expect for that to happen. So you have to go find people that you trust, find people that are talented in the role that you put them in, and allow yourself to just focus on that growth.
Yeah, it always comes down to you never want to upset your existing customers, right? And that was the hard part for you was, hey, I don't want to give up this role because I know whoever we hire isn't going to care as much as me. And that's the reality, right? It's the law of diminishing return. The further you get away from the owner, the less they're going to care. But that still doesn't mean that you can't put in systems where people are helping you with the majority of the work, but you're still not systematizing the satisfaction of your customers, right? So we've developed metrics to make sure that as we grow and as we add people to the team, our customers are increasing in satisfaction or at least remaining consistent while we're adding people, developing people on our team. But you're never going to do it, like Brian said, without hiring people and developing them and training them and putting procedures in place so that you're holding them accountable and the integrity of the work is still remaining, very high and optimizing.
In order to do that, some people they want some more slow and steady growth, which is great. If you want to have a great business and you want it sooner than later, your job is to get to that as quick as possible, get to hiring someone that is going to alleviate some of those things, because time is money. If I spend 50 hours a week sitting here doing accounting work on my computer, that's 50 hours a week I could have gone getting in front of customers, shaking more hands, and getting more product out the door, which can make our company even better, hire another person, could free up so much more time, and eventually start hiring salespeople, which we haven't even gotten to that step yet. But
yeah, if you're at this level, you know how to sell yourself. The goal should be constantly so you getting back in the lane of selling. That is the goal of hiring, right? Why do you hire? So you can continue growing the business, reinvesting in the business, right? And that only comes from sales. And if you're at this point, you've kind of mastered how to sell and how to grow your business. The only thing holding you back is you lacking the trust and the ability to develop people to help you grow and service accounts. And that's, you have to be calculated when you hire, and you have to systematize so that they're keeping the integrity of your product and service very high. But I think it's very, very possible. So hopefully that helped you visualize what it takes to grow a business, alleviate the busy work, and implement people into your team, and so that you can continue growing your business.
Yeah, and we're still in the thick of it. We're still growing our business. That's why we hope that you guys come along on the journey. There's not much content out there that people are kind of walking through the steps as they're doing it. You hear these people that, now they're worth $300 million. They try to relate back to what they were going through at the time, but it's pretty much far, far away, and they can't even remember it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a traumatic thing, starting a business. People don't talk about, right? It's amazing on so many levels, right? We have associates, team members that invite us to their birthday parties, and they cry because they're so happy they get to work here, and it's a beautiful thing, but it's really traumatic too. It's a lot of lonely times and hard times, and after a month, I try to block things out of my memory, right? It's traumatic. I don't want to have PTSD, so I block them out. And a lot of these people that have had success forget about the struggle often. And I don't blame them.
We're at the stage where every day, like for the past, since we started this, it's felt like you're going into battle. Every day it gets a little bit less, less gruesome, I think, if you want to use that analogy. But it is still a battle. I think, we spoke to Jimmy John from Jimmy John's Subs. He said it never ends. So, but, when you're starting it and you don't have that, you don't have some money in your bank to, have a little bit more cushion behind you, it makes it 10 times scarier. The battle is always going to happen, but the people that are in that position where it's like, I'm scared if I'm going to make it or not, believe you are. If you work at it hard enough, it will happen. You'll get to a point where you can start hiring some more people, have a team around you where it feels a little bit more comfortable. You feel a little bit, you feel like you're on a mission together rather than by yourself. If you guys are feeling that way, I'd love to have you guys drop a comment in the comment section, see where you guys are at, kind of share some feedback, because we're in it with you, and start learning from each other.
Yeah. See you next week.
What is going on, you beautiful ladies and gentlemen? Breakfast in under 30 seconds.